so I'm doing my office hours again from New Mexico, and I had this enormous honor of sharing the plenary in just a few minutes with Teague González, who is the co-director of the New Mexico Immigrant Law Center here in Albuquerque. We're going to talk about fighting fascism, how to build a multiracial democracy, or at least put some of the pieces in for a multi-racial, cross-class democracy. We've just met. You're incredible. And what you all have done here in New Mexico is something I think folks around the country have been watching. In a complicated state with such diversity, incredible natural resources, histories, cultures, and political climate, you've been able to do stuff that we can't do in the lefty left or lefty east, like in New York. So give us a couple of tips about how you've been able to be so successful organizing here in New Mexico.
Thank you so much. Well, I think it started about 17 years ago. A group of activists, organizers, movement folks, electoral folks decided to really think strategically about how to shift politics in New Mexico. We had, for 8 years, a Republican governor, Susana Martinez, who really was a Trump-light. She eviscerated state government by design, purposely let go and laid off thousands of state employees. To this day, those positions have never been completely refilled. So it's that breakdown of state government and making it not work so that people then don't believe in government. And I think it was during that time, we knew she was going to be turned out. And so we spent time building organizations like Organizing in the Land of Enchantment, OLE, Somos un Pueblo Unido, El Centro y Igualdad y Derechos, and even now Organizing Power in Numbers, had a statewide strategy to change the face of our legislature. And they did that district by district through the south, central, and northern districts of our state. And so now what we have, 8 years from the end of her term, and now 8 years at the end of Governor Lujan Grisham's term, enormous success, and we've passed statewide rights to gender-affirming healthcare, statewide rights to reproductive healthcare, a Voting Rights Act that has automatic voter registration, expanding access to the ballot, a New Mexico Native American Voting Rights Act that expands access to voting for Native Americans. We also have free childcare in New Mexico for people up to 400% of FPL. And that impacts 90% of New Mexicans. We have free university, free college for anyone regardless of income. And all of this is regardless of your immigration status. And then we also created the Early Childhood Trust Fund, which taps into our state's sovereign wealth fund. And it was an initial investment of $20 million and is now close to $500 million that supports that agency. So there's been, at the same time, there was a real move by these organizations to form C4s and PACs and to get involved behind supporting progressive candidates. And they did this by activating their membership bases and going into districts that were right-leaning, center-leaning, and in some cases maybe captured by a Democrat, but a Democrat in name only, and worked to challenge a lot of those seats. And at this point now, we have a supermajority of Democrats in our legislature and a progressive leadership under Speaker Javier Martinez. And so we've had enormous wins from tax policy to public benefits expansion to bread and butter issues that just impact the lives of all New Mexicans. And the polling shows that New Mexicans support this direction.
All right, much more to talk about, but thank you so much, Teague, for just giving me a few minutes. And folks, you can follow up with Teague and their organization here in New Mexico if you're interested in being available. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. And, check out our website at nmilc.org, New Mexico Immigrant Law Center.
Great, great. And thank you for inviting us to New Mexico.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right.